As you can see, I named this video Engine Out. This is my first engine out that I've had since I've been flying. I typically do my videos just showing my flights, little clips of the highlights, and just playing a nice little song in the background. But in this one, showing an engine out isn't really like a nice flight. You know, you're like, oh crap, I'm having an engine out. And you can see when I'm trying to warm up the motor, it keeps dying on me when I let go of the throttle. So that's probably one indication. I thought, maybe it would warm up a bit. Maybe it just needed a few more minutes to warm up. I figured once I got going, maybe it would just be fine. So I just got done adjusting the carb and the throttle settings on the Moster 185. And you can see as I'm testing this, the motor dies a couple times. And then once I got it going, it seemed to be running just fine. I figured if I just keep on throttle, I would be fine. And on my launch, everything seemed fine. It seemed like, okay, maybe the motor warmed up. It stayed running even when I was hooking my lines up and then grabbing all of my brake lines and all that. Launch seemed fine. One thing I should have done is I probably should have stayed on the airport grounds and tested it out a few times just to make sure, but I decided to head on out. I had Ben there up ahead of me. I figure if anything went wrong, he's there. He'd be around to maybe come pick me up somewhere if I had an engine out. I decided, this is looks like a good field to come swooping down into, so I went idle here. And the engine kept running for a moment. I think it was like right about here it died, and I was like, okay, I gotta land. And so I knew I was coming in for a landing at this point, and I got really lucky that it was just like this nice clean field, nice grass to land on. It was dry. And I kept looking over to see if the owner of the house right there was going to come out. I don't know if he was just peeking out the curtain or whatever, but he never came out. He never sicked the dogs on me or anything like that. So I just was like, okay, I'll just get reset up. Got my engine going. This time I didn't let go of the throttle. I had to keep it held. And I was able to hold the throttle down just slightly just to keep the engine going, and I got relaunched again. From this point, I never went idle again. I just held throttle the whole time and ended up flying the rest of the flight just fine. Went out to the water and back. You can see Ben there. He was coming back to find out what happened to me. I disappeared for several minutes. So all in all, things worked out pretty well. Had an engine out, landed just fine, got the engine started back up, took off, had a flight, and then came back to the airport. So it was probably the best situation you could have when you have an engine out. So it wasn't too terribly bad. Just the lesson learned here is just to make sure when you're warming up your engine, just make sure it's warm and it's not going to die when you're out flying, when you go idle.